All right, welcome back to Theater Thursday, everybody, with Hannah and Chubbs. This week, we're going to the small screen. We're going to Netflix to the hugely popular The Tiger King series. Um, you could consider this the theater because it's almost like a documentary movie broken down into what is now 8 episodes. And although we're a little bit late to the game, we're going to give our opinions and some insights and what we think about it. So I'll just say that I crammed it in like 2.5 days recently. So I'm all caught up, and I watched a couple of clips from other people reviewing it to see how much info I can got. But the story in and of itself is pretty plain and simple. Now, we will end up spoiling this if you haven't seen it, but even if you haven't, and no matter what you hear from us, it's worth a watch to take it all in because nobody can give justice by talking about it. It has to be seen to be believed. So, um, we'll go ahead and how about you just give us your first thoughts, what you about it.
Um, well, like I said, I was already familiar with Joe Exotic. I didn't pay much attention to him. I kind of just thought he was a joke. Um, but uh, this documentary, I saw a lot of sides to him I didn't know. You know, um, I knew he was kind of just a crazy dude who liked tigers, but I didn't know that there was so much abuse and there was so much. I thought he actually liked animals. And I think he does like animals, but he didn't treat the animals very well, and you get to see that in this documentary. And also he was actually afraid of tigers. A lot of people don't know that. Um, he would be um he would be in the cage with the tigers, but they would either be sedated or there was a blind tiger that he's in the cage with. He did not like being in the cages with them. Like he acted, people thought he's like this tiger king. He's like so brave. Um, but no, he wouldn't get in there with them unless they were kind of, they had them all uh tranquilized and stuff.
Right.
I don't know if people knew that. He was,
That I didn't know. So
yeah, he was scared of cats. He didn't like big cats. And he had a bunch of little cats living in his little house and stuff. Or his I guess it's like a trailer or something they all lived in at this zoo.
mm, seems overall he made most of his money, and his big thing by what most of those his employees said was
Hmm.
raising the cubs, having people petting them when he did the mall circuit. You know, like the cubs were the thing, and then like most exotic pets, it got out of hand when they got too old or they couldn't use it anymore. They even say in the documentary it just became a bill when they
well,
got to be too big to use for pictures and such like that.
well, back in the '90s, he seemed like he really did care about the tigers, and he didn't really like the breeding and stuff, and he would always like stand up against that stuff. And then once he saw all the money that he can make having a zoo,
The
he got corrupted, and then it seemed like he didn't really care about the animals anymore. It became more about him, and he wanted to be some star, and he kind of exploited animals for his own gain.
he
And
does say that literally towards the end.
well, that seems like that's what happened with him. Um, I don't know. That happens with a lot of people. I think that Carol Baskins is the same. I know that she says that he's worse, but I think she uses animals just like he does.
She my with her two things real quick.
Hmm.
One, it's obvious because she says she has 100, and when everybody went there, no, she's only got like 12 that anybody sees. And
Yeah.
then she did the smart thing by getting the public on her side. Joe
Hmm.
hired like ex cons to give them a chance, or people he knew maybe sometimes in shady ways, but she got volunteers. She
Hmm.
used social media first, and he didn't use it properly. he didn't realize you don't go threaten people on social media.
Oh yeah.
She played that game the right way, but she also let's just say, fell into money, and then, but none of them had decent places for what they were trying to do. I do
Mhm.
believe he he loved animals in the first place. You
Mhm.
know, I've seen people talk about this. Some of this wasn't in the documentary where his parents had the big cat thing first, so he was born into it,
Mhm.
and like the fact that he did magic for 9 years, he's a showman. That's what he
Mhm.
wants to be. You don't dress like that if you don't want to be seen. He even
Mhm.
says, like in the beginning, like of the documentary, well, yeah, I won't take off my hat because then you'll just see a mullet. He knows what he's got going on, and 12 earrings and flashy shirts. But let me be straight off the bat. One, in the first 10 minutes of the documentary, you see a 30-foot snake, and I freaked out because that's my enemy, and I would make a
Mhm.
suit out of that and a suitcase and a belt. But anyway, he says, "I don't carry a gun because of the animals. I carry a gun because of the people."
Mhm.
And I said immediately, there's no, you're wrong. Sure enough, in the scene where one grabs his leg and he says somebody put something on his shoe, he has to
Oh
shoot
yeah.
the gun to get it away from him. And I'm sure they want to protect themselves from people, but you don't walk around like a cowboy with a gun at that place
Mhm.
and say it's not. But they also were shooting tannerite, the stuff that explodes, and they show them going to buy endless amounts of ammo. And given what happened to one of his husbands, we know where that could lead. So,
Mhm. Yeah, and that was crazy too. Like his husband, like he didn't even mean to like take himself out like that. He was just kind of goofing off.
uh,
So,
mm,
you know,
well, you
well,
gotta.
like the guy that saw him do, like the guy that was in the uh office with him when it happened, he said that he could tell that like the guy, like when he shot himself, that he was like in shock, that he can, that he's like, oh
Oh
no, I
yeah.
messed up. So it's like it was obvious that like he didn't. It was an accident, and he was like
Mm,
on a lot of different substance.
yeah, there was a lot of drugs with a lot of those people, and
Mhm.
especially, you know, I would say the saddest thing I feel for Joe is that his two husbands straight up at the end said they weren't even gay. They were in it because he was supplying them with stuff. And that guy, I think that must have been the Travis one, right? That shot himself.
Mhm.
Yeah, because Dylan's alive. But yeah, um, the guy who is in the that poor guy had to watch it, but like you see the flash off screen. But he said, yeah, he pointed at us and himself all the time, and he'd ride. They showed him riding around holding the gun, and it's like, oh my god, that's horrible. And I feel bad that he got used for that. But like, there's pictures of them just sitting around with every drug imaginable, and meth got to most of them. Then we all missing teeth and such. Um, but at the same time, let's even this out. I do not agree with the guy with the harem of girls. The guy who rides the elephant and he has like three
Oh,
wives.
oh
He has
yeah.
a
Oh
cult. That's a cult. Let's be
yeah.
straight.
It's very controlling and stuff.
Well,
Um,
the girl who got
and
out made it clear. Like
you
he
don't
he
get paid.
made them get.
Yeah, you don't get
Go
paid
ahead.
much working there. You work for 12 hours a day. He would
Well,
have them. They always had to be kind of sexy, at all
he
times.
made them get implants.
Yeah, he'd have them like, you gotta look hot, you gotta be around the tigers. They were probably exhausted all the time, and then they had nothing to fall back on if they tried to leave. So it was sort of like control. It's like, where are they gonna live? What are they gonna do with themselves? Like they have
Yeah,
nothing without him. So they are kind of forced into it. He says, "Oh, they can leave anytime," but it's like they don't have
that's
anything.
that's a lesson for anybody listening anywhere, anytime. That's how cults work. I don't care if it's religion or this or anything else. When anything goes to the point of you can leave wherever you want, but you're a piece of trash, and what you're gonna do? And that's how they keep you around because luckily they had that one girl in there that got out and was able to say yes. This is, but the whole work hour thing. That's all of them where it's like we
Oh,
have to work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, and get paid $100 a week. And then at Joe's place, his workers had mobile homes but no water. One had a rat in his
they
drawer.
had to eat expired meat.
Yeah, the Walmart runs, and that's
Yeah.
my problem. Like, one, let me be clear. This documentary, it was ended up being about the people. It should have been about the animals because they were suffering the most. Because these big cats should not be that, or monkeys, any of them. And these people blow their money trying to make them better, and especially Joe's people. At least they showed the most were in horrible conditions.
Hmm.
And like, I don't, I guess again they had nowhere to go, and somewhere ex-con, so they had, okay, I'll do this. But that poor girl got her arm ripped off,
Oh, I know.
and
Or
she stayed, and that's great and all, but
I think she identifies as like male. I'm just gonna say that.
well,
That's
they
what
called her a her.
I know,
That's
but
all.
like I heard something like she didn't or
Okay, well,
he didn't like it. I don't know. I'm
whatever
just
they are, got their arms ripped off, and they went back, and that they're comfortable with it. That's fine. And I know accidents do happen, but these poor animals like should have been the forefront. But in the end, like right now as we sit, there's nothing we can do about it.
no.
Like PETA obviously knows, and the rights activists know, but like they show like that they're letting the cubs being pet by children, and
Yeah.
we have house cats. You ever have your house cat bite or scratch you for fun? They don't know the difference.
Well, like
And
Joe actually threw like a 6-month-old like tiger on a child, and the child got bit really bad.
yeah,
So
I
like
remember that.
he's not very considerate, or like I don't think children should be around tigers, and I don't think I don't even think people should own pit bulls if you got a child.
Well, that's a different debate for a different day.
Oh, I'm not saying. I'm
But
just saying. I know of somebody
no,
whose child got eaten by a dog. So I'm like, I don't even think I'd
uh,
have like a
well,
pit bull around a baby. I'm sorry.
I can tell you, Max had a pit bull when we were growing up, and from they were the time it was they bottle fed it when they got it, and it lived to an old age, and I don't think it barked once ever.
Well, no, I know, but like, there's just
It's the people,
people.
it's not the dog.
Well, my parents had a pit bull for a little while, and it attacked the neighbor kid. So my parents are like, "We're getting rid of this dog." Like
My
immediately, they got rid of it.
my mom had Dachshunds my whole life, and some of them could be downright mean. It's don't pigeonhole a pit bull, but anyway,
Not
um,
pigeonhole a pit bull, but I'm saying like some people will be like, my pit bull is the nicest pit bull, and then you get freaking attacked by it. So it's like I have a thing about big dogs. I've been attacked by them. I personally just don't like big dogs. It's a personal
well,
choice, and I
it's
don't I feel like they're not safe sometimes.
it's
So
an animal.
I couldn't imagine having a tiger around a baby.
Well, they had a liger. I would say that's cool, a lion, tiger. But some of these people had monkeys, and that's never safe.
Oh,
Um,
they're
one of
crazy.
them, bears, wolves, and none of these are safe. But like anything, it's wild. You can keep it all for its whole life. It's not supposed to be in there. Like me and Max tell people, you can look at a squirrel and go, "That's the cutest thing," but go grab it and see what happens to you. Or grab a rabbit. That's wild.
Yeah.
They'll tear you apart. So
Well, you're
it's
supposed
the
to admire these animals from afar.
right, but my thing is these people should have built better places. Even that Carol lady, who's probably the least worst of the bunch, she's still bad. But
Hmm.
like Joe pointed out, when they went there, like she didn't cut her grass. Her cages were tiny, and that's the horrible thing about it. And then that's just one aspect. The other aspect is everybody's personal life. The guy in
Hmm.
Florida was a drug dealer who said He's basically Scarface. We like my lawyers tell me to make sure I say Carol may or may not have done something to one of her husbands. We don't know. I don't know,
Hmm.
but she played it. It looked pretty slick. But two or three of these groups of these zoos probably euthanized their animals. They
Hmm.
did find on Joe's property bones. So
Yeah, they found five tigers.
yeah. So and it makes
I
sense.
think
Like
it was like he got 19 counts of some charges for those tigers, and that's
right.
22 years in prison.
I think I will say they should have all gone to jail for many a reason, but
Hmm.
somebody had to take the fall in the end, and it
Well,
was Joe. You
I
know.
kind of think that Carol Baskins, I kind of do think she fed her husband to the tigers. That's my opinion on it. Um, like it just seems like something happened to him. He's like gone one day,
Hmm.
and there was like rumors that like their marriage wasn't so great, anyways.
Oh yeah, he filed a report saying she said, and he took it to the court saying she wanted to kill him. Like in a fight, she said that, and then she changed his will to say if I vanish, and nobody puts that in their wills.
Yeah.
So, but at this point, she pretty much got away with it because I don't think they'll ever
No, I
be
know,
able
but
to.
I personally think that she did do it. And she took everything they had, basically. The family didn't get anything out of that, his actual family.
Oh, she's slick. Like even if the dude did disappear on his own, she was slick and
Oh, I don't think he did,
rewrote
though.
everything. Well, that's what I'm
I,
saying.
I definitely
That's
don't think.
that's hearsay. The guy's gone, and she was
Yeah.
slick enough to change everything in the will, and they were smart in the documentary to put his ex-wife and his older kids, and they all are like, yeah, like everything we got. They got like 10% or something weird like that. But
Hmm.
um, I'll put it this way: I've seen in real life in almost pretty much family where somebody had money and died mysteriously. So I know what it's like, and I know what it looks like, and I know what it sounds like.
Hmm.
But it all comes down back to the animals. If she has the money out of all these people, and she has no better park than the rest of them, and that's the animal should have been the purpose. But yeah,
Yeah.
Joe's flashy, and him running for office put him in everybody's sights. Like you
Hmm.
couldn't escape him. And I
Hmm.
noticed when he ran for president, he might have been the lowest on the count list, but he still
Hmm.
got 19% of the votes. So that means people did vote for him. Now, I wanted to ask you, they show in the they show he was in a parade.
Hmm.
Was that or the whole it's what, Winnie Barrow? The county?
Oh, Winwood
No,
or
it was like
Winewood?
Winnie Burr or something. It's like
No.
Wye wherever he was. But
Oh, Winewood or something, I think, right?
right, that how far time wise is that from you? Like if you drove to it, would that be an hour or would that be a day from where you're at?
It would be like an hour and 30-minute
Okay.
drive. It's not like,
But
insanely far or
right.
anything.
No. But that would mean like your local news probably was blasting like running for governor and running
No,
for
yeah, he
president.
was all over. He was everywhere. Like I would see signs in people's yards. I mean, like he was a big deal. Like just because it was a joke to everybody, people didn't take it serious. Like people, um, they kind of just played along with him because they thought it was funny. Because like look at this crazy mullet dude who's like trying to be our
Right.
governor. So people had fun with it, even though like you said, it wasn't like he was the lowest voted. It was just sort of just like a goof or something for people.
Well, the normal people like us before the documentary probably had no clue about this deep, dark stuff. So
No,
it's
I
just a flamboyant guy, you know?
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I knew who he was for like the longest time because he had that zoo here, and he was known for like our animal. He was like our animal dude here.
Right?
Like he was a big deal here in Oklahoma. And everybody thought he was goofy for like years. There's like, okay, he wears like sparkly shirts and he's got a mullet and he's got tigers and he's gay. But that was it. Like he's like a redneck gay guy. Like, you know. But
When they
whenever
showed, okay,
whenever he ran for governor and then he ran for president, then people started looking more into it, and then the Carol Baskin stuff was kind of coming out too a few years ago because I didn't even know about that situation. Um, and then I was kind of like, okay, he's fighting with some lady on the internet. Like I didn't know, I just saw memes or whatever on Facebook about it. I didn't know. I just learned stuff about her from the documentary. I never really looked into her. I just remember him fighting with her all the time on Facebook.
right? Well, and he had an internet show, and
Hmm.
the this documentary came about because a guy who makes reality TV wanted to make a reality show
Hmm.
about his internet show, and that's where this came from. And then that leads to
Well, he
the
put the Tiger King put or Joe Exotic. He put an ad on Craigslist asking if somebody would film him so he could
right.
book a show. And then
And I've heard of that guy, the producer, and he had done a couple of shows. So he was smart where he's like, "This is gold." He even said in the documentary, he's like, "All I kept saying is keep rolling," because that's how
yeah,
Joe was. Like he's
but
unpredictable, you
he
know.
said that he regrets a lot of the things. He said he regrets filming
Well,
a lot of like the killing of animals and not going to the police and stuff. He said I like regret not doing something about it and watching all these animals get killed.
well, that leads to the arson where the studio with all his film and all the hard drives, etc., go up in flames. And the video they show, it looks like it's him walking over there, but it's really
I didn't think
convenient, you
I
know.
Do you think it was him, the producer, that did it?
Um, well, the only person not there was Joe because he went conveniently to a funeral in another state.
Hmm.
So, and that So anybody's possible. And the only thing the producer said that made a little sense was he's like, that was my retirement. Why would I burn that down?
Yeah,
But I think I think some of them knew what was going to happen. And again, it happened in the alligator pit, and the alligators boiled alive. And that is the terrible part. Like,
hmm,
these people are obviously scrupulous and, you know, up to something, and nobody should be surprised that he may have planned a hit on the woman. But like in the end, these animals suffer, and he had to shove them all in and try and disappear at the end. And they show him tranking them and moving them, and uh, like at least one good thing, like he had two chimps, and he said he sent them to a real Florida zoo or primate area, and they used to sit in cages next to each other, but now they get to play together. And the first thing they did when those chimps were let out is hug each other.
oh,
And people say animals have no morals. Give me a break. So
I didn't know people said that.
that's, trust me, in the theist atheist battle, it's, well, that's a good question anybody can ask is, well, do animals have souls type of thing? Or like,
Hmm.
I know they feel empathy because we have video of a baby falling into an enclosure with a gorilla at a zoo, and the gorilla protected the baby. So,
No, I mean
it,
obviously animals. Like here's something I've always wondered. Okay, like animals do seem to show compassion and love,
mhm.
and sometimes like I would question it. I'd be like, are they just like imitating us, or like do they really feel like? Because I don't know what goes on in their heads. Like I don't know. But it seems like genuine. You know.
Anybody who's ever had a dog can attest that dogs literally cry, and I don't mean like cry to get out or cry to eat, but
If you
I've
leave and stuff, they.
right, I've seen my dog, bless her heart, she's not with us anymore, but when she would do something wrong, she would tilt her head down and look up like she knew she did wrong and I was going to get mad.
Mhm.
And like there's a million cases of especially golden retrievers protecting babies. And, you
Mhm.
know, the reason we call dogs man best friend because they literally are so loyal they'll protect their owner, not just anybody.
Oh yeah, they
So,
do. I mean,
so
definitely, like they protect you from people breaking in your house and
right.
stuff.
Well, that'll tell you right there that they know. They just can't communicate, but gorillas can do sign language. So we know, like they think they
Mhm.
they really get to the point. But these cats had to be miserable, and I hope right now as we speak, the documentary is helping these animals. I know that guy from Vegas, Jeff Lowe, who's just as bad as the rest,
Oh
is.
yeah.
They showed him moving to Lower Oklahoma or whatever.
Mhm.
Well, because that fat guy, and I can say that because I'm fat, said we
I'm
need
not
to go
fat.
closer to Texas because that's where a lot of your tickets come from, or, your sales.
Mhm.
So they're starting to build a new area. It's still only 40 acres, and that's nothing. But
Mhm.
in the end, at least they're starting from scratch, and the place will be better. So that's a start. But
That
one thing,
that guy is
right?
mad though because he didn't put his name on the zoo. Remember that?
Yeah.
So like they had him, and he's like, "I got dirt on you," and then he's riding that jet ski, and it's like they're playing the Eye of the Tiger. Like, it's,
Oh yeah, that's right.
like, I
But
thought that was hilarious.
if I was him, I'd be sweating the most because he was the turning snitch to the whole jail thing with Joe, because
Mhm.
he's the first person to try and set up the sting.
Mhm.
And like his employees said, yeah, he mentioned killing Carol all the time. Now, if the poor, it is the law, man. If you try and exchange money, that's the key, and he's done for that. I looked at it the whole time watching it, where I'm like, you're in Oklahoma and she's in Florida, like leave it alone at that. Like, and plus,
Yeah.
you make videos trashing the person and pointing guns at a dummy dressed like her. Like he was asking for it. Like he
Yeah. Like,
he got too angry too easy.
yeah. It was almost like YouTube drama at that point. You know, like how people
Oh, it
do the
was.
back and forth. He was doing all those crazy videos, and
But
he's like, "This is." He's
She
like,
was smart enough not to get involved that way.
"No, yeah,
Carol sued him to death.
yeah, yeah." Like she sued him over like memes and stuff. Like I think that's pretty wild.
Well, no,
I need to
she.
I need to get something to drink and stuff. I need
Okay,
to go pee pee. So you gotta take over the show.
okay. I will,
I'll be right
as
back.
always.
I need another Coke, y'all.
Okay,
BRB.
okay. If anybody's still here to continue that last note in the documentary, Carol and her new husband end up finding the best way to take Joe to court was through the labeling. Her her business was Big Cat Rescue, and Joe turned his name into Big Cat Rescue Entertainment. Used you know a look-alike logo for his business cards and such, and her name was trademarked or copyrighted or copyright whatever, and that's how she got like found a way into the courts because, like I said, he made videos trashing her and saying, "I'm going to send you a rattlesnake on your birthday," and here's a mannequin, and shot the mannequin with a gun. And she did the smart thing and didn't go that route and sued him. And eventually, that's why he needed to find a backer who was not a nice person either. But let that be a key to anybody who gets involved in any way on social media, especially YouTube, where drama is just a tennis match. Where and me and Hannah can tell you where we've been talked about, we've been told nasty things, but I personally, if you send something my way, be it words or uh, whatever, I like to just go, oh, thank you, we appreciate you coming by. So that's the moral of that story. Hi, can't hear you.
What I miss?
There you go. I brought up that the way that Carol really got her foot in the door to start hitting him in the wallet was when he stole her name. Pretty much, she was Big Cat Rescue, and he was Big Cat Rescue Entertainment, and he used part of her logo. So that was her way. She could copyright her name, and that's how she was able to start suing him and hit him in the wallet, and that's where it hurt. And I told our audience that drama is never the good way. Drama is a tennis match where
No.
just just let it blow off, and that was his downfall, where he kept getting mad, and just like drama people, thinking if you just keep yelling, that's going to matter. And she said, "No, I'm just going to be quiet, let you yap, record it, and take you to court." And that's he needed money and got involved with a worse person,
Yeah.
that dude Jeff, and
Well,
that
Jeff.
led to the downfall.
Yeah, Jeff didn't really help him out at all either.
And now
Um.
he owns everything because he was
Yeah.
trying to fight Carol, signed everything to Jeff, and Jeff it doesn't look like a great guy
Well,
either, but yeah.
drama don't get you nowhere, but also it's just causes it's a lot of anxiety, y'all. If you're ever stuck in a drama situation every day, you're having chest pains and you're worrying about like what's gonna happen. It's not good. It's best to stay out of that kind of stuff.
Well, let me make this point, and this goes to you too, Miss Hannah. Something like YouTube drama, that's something you got to really not let get to you. When
Mhm.
when my divorce happened, I literally worried myself pretty much to death because my ex-wife was trying to take my kids from me. That's
Mhm.
worth having anxiety over.
Mhm.
And
No, yeah,
but
definitely, but
I was telling the audience that when people tried to say something stupid to me over YouTube, I would just be like, "Oh well, thank you for coming. We love to have you here," and that made them get more mad. And that's what happened with Joe, where Carol didn't fight fire with fire that way. So,
yeah, well, she took the adult way, I guess,
mhm.
and she, even yeah, she
Well,
went through
if she
legal,
would have if she would have just threatened him back, I wouldn't have done anything. So she's like, "Go ahead, say what you got to say." And he was dumb
Mhm.
enough to record
Well,
everything.
obviously, she fed her husband to a tiger, so she got away with that. So
Wow.
she's pretty slick. She knows how to do stuff.
Well, yeah, she's the type of person where it seems, yeah, you can say whatever you want, but I'll just make you disappear, and that's much worse. So, you know,
Yeah. Oh, one thing I was gonna say. So, I don't know if y'all people know Joe Exotic. He's gay, and he married two guys, and they had a pink shirt wedding.
and a
And
monkey ring bear.
yeah, and I think they were they 19 or something? I don't know. He met
The
both of his
the
husbands at
youngest
different
one,
points. Yeah, like he was with
the young one.
what are their names? I don't remember their names.
Travis was
Dylan,
the young guy, and
uh,
Dylan's the one who's still alive and
yeah.
living in Florida or whatnot.
So,
And then I don't remember the older guy who had less teeth, who was married to him first. He moved on. He's the one who had an affair
oh
with the
yeah,
secretary.
yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Like, supposedly these guys were not gay.
Oh no,
Um,
they said
I
it
mean,
in
they
the
said they were
documentary.
gay, but I don't know. I guess like you said, it was like they were basically using Joe for the things that he could give them.
Yeah, because
He promised them. Yeah.
Joe said in the documentary where he said that really sucked because he can't compete with women. If they left him for another man, he could fight with that, but they left him for women. So he was like, "There's nothing I can do about that."
Hmm.
And but it hurts any other way. But yeah, he bought love, and that's no way to do it.
No, but it's like, well, I don't think I could go gay for like money and stuff. Like that's just, I guess some people have different
Um,
morality or something in that way, or if they want things, like they'll willing to sell their self like that. Yeah.
I thought about this a lot preparing for this, and I'm glad I will say this on air, and I'll say it live in front of anybody. I am a poor person, and I wouldn't for money have a fake relationship. Like
Yeah.
that's that in the end I would just be hollow and lonely inside. And that obviously took a toll on the young guy who eventually, accident or not, he was going for self destruction. So,
Well, yeah, but it's like
and
also they're in a relationship with somebody they're not technically attracted to because if they're you know what I mean like if they're
yeah,
not gay like they're then it's all just about what he could do for them like provide them with place to stay and all that kind of stuff and that's just really wrong you know.
excuse me. Yeah, for me though, him being gay was like didn't have anything to do with it. Like,
Hmm.
that's just an extra like thing where in the
No,
end
it's
he's
just
a
like
flamboyant guy. Who
he just
cares?
no, it's just like you know, oh I date only straight guys or something. He said that's like what I
Yeah,
had.
like,
I like straight boys. And I
but
know Jeffree Star, he says that all the time too. It's a thing.
right. But look what
So
happened. Let this be an example. Like, you're not gonna find what like a real relationship out of that, and it's gonna bite you in the butt.
mhm.
And luckily, though, I will say the guy Dylan, who's still his husband, seems to still be with him and still talks to him. He said 3 times a day, and is helping him out. And I hope that he's real because Joe does need somebody, criminal or not,
Yeah.
bad guy or not. Like, he seemed the most where everything he was doing was like
Well,
part of his personality and part of an act, and it got out of control. The guy who made the documentary said once they got him that throne, he changed, started yelling at people on
well, is
camera,
he
and
still with that guy? The other, like the one he married later, like
when by the end of the documentary, they were talking to the guy Dylan a lot,
yeah.
and he
I
said, "Yeah, I
remember
talked."
that, but I just didn't know if like this is more recent or when they filmed this because like it almost seemed like that was like a rebound relationship because his
Yeah, he got married
his
2 months
husband
after.
literally shot himself. Yeah, like 2 months before. So it's like, don't you need some time to grieve or
Mm,
like
well, yeah, and but we all make that mistake at some point in our lives where like a new relationship comes and it makes us, like they said in the thing, like when the parade came around is when he started dating Dylan, and he got back to being his boisterous self, and he wasn't, but he was just putting a patch on a wound and not treating it.
yeah, not
So
dealing with it with counseling or anything.
yeah, he didn't. And then the poor mom of the boy who took his life by accident or not, he,
Yeah.
he said when he got married, Joe asked his ex mother-in-law to come, and then she said, "Yeah." After that, I've never heard from him again. So he used her for that, and that's the terrible part. And they made uh, him and some bikers apparently made a statue of a four-wheeler for him, and it seems that's where his ashes are. So that's very
Mhm.
nice. But no, and like the first guy left for the like had a baby and an affair with the secretary, and
Mhm.
it's like, yeah, that's a good sign to me of why Joe probably went off the hinges so quickly. Like,
Oh yeah.
he thought he was in love, and he got hurt twice, and then that takes into
Well,
fact.
not to get too personal, but you know, like I told you, my situation was kind of like the opposite of his. So it's like I know how that feels. Like when you're with somebody that's obviously not like into you, and then they leave you. Like so I know how that could feel. It makes you feel pretty bad about yourself.
Me too.
Yeah. So
my
you,
my my ex-wife left me.
yeah. So you know how it feels. We all know how it feels. It sucks. Um,
but but we're not in the spotlight, and
no.
adds an extra layer to his state of mind. I can tell you one thing.
Well,
I Go ahead.
I had a cough. That his husband that left him, he said that a lot of people at the zoo were banging each other. He said there was a
Right.
lot of stuff, like crazy stuff going on with these people. So it wasn't just like him and that girl. I mean, like there was a lot of, and I think his other husband might have been seeing other girls too.
Oh yeah. Well, one thing I noticed. about okay, you have Joe and you have Carol. They had Tim Stark. That's the guy who had the monkey all the time and was helping Jeff to rebuild. Jeff's the guy from Vegas. And then
Yeah.
you had the guy who was like Scarface in Florida. And then the harem, the guy with the harem of girls, right? When
Yeah.
everybody except the guy with the monkey and the guy in Florida, at one point throughout the documentary, they all broke face. And
Hmm.
maybe because the only thing I can do is read people sometimes, where they be looking and look down or look up,
Hmm.
and you could see like in their face, like they would smile or have a tough guy look or whatever, but everybody broke it sometime for a second. And you could tell like it hit them at least for a second where they're like, oh wow, is this me? Is this what I'm doing? Is this happening? And that's
Hmm.
the sad part. And but most of these people have kids or husbands, wives, relatives where
Hmm.
you know I, Carol has daughters, and you know those are the people that I feel for, where it's like they are connected to this, don't want to be, but their name is out there now, their parents or who or whatnot. Like that's sad. Where it's like all these other people are getting dragged in, and then at the end, it's like, oh, now people might have been trying to kill people. It's like, oh no. So it
Hmm.
turned out to me to be really sad, and the animals. That's by far the worst because they have they had nothing to do with any of this and are suffering because they're just put there. And the fact
Hmm.
that all these people have more big cats than the rest of the world in the wild, you're like, oh wow. So I hope this brings some light and maybe some rich people who have nothing to do with these animals can help these people who have these animals, but I doubt it given how shady some of these people are.
Hmm. Well, I
Mhm.
mean, they obviously they put down animals that don't need to be put down either, just probably because of costs and stuff. And then they bury them out there. It's like act like nothing happened. That's pretty evil. Like putting down. I mean, like you wouldn't do that with your cats or something if you have too many cats. You're not gonna just like go kill one of your cats and then be like, all right, let's bury it. So it's like they're doing this with these 600-pound tigers and stuff, and it's like if you can't take care of it, then you need to like figure out what to do with it and not just take it out like that. You
Yeah, it
said that
was.
he gave some monkeys to another zoo or something. Why didn't he just figure out people that can
Well,
take
that
some of these
was.
tigers?
Well, that was Joe. Yeah.
Well, I was talking about Joe at this point, but
Well, I was thinking of the guy with the harem.
oh yeah,
They said, I think it was the girl who escaped said, or maybe in a report, it doesn't matter, but somebody
yeah,
said they heard gunshots in the middle of the night, and
oh yeah, that's right.
he had a crematorium, so he didn't have to bury anything.
Oh
So,
yeah, so he's burning them.
and I mentioned this earlier, where one of the guys, I think it was the Tim Stark guy, told Joe, after they're cubs, that's great and all, but you can't use them. They're just a bill. And they said in the documentary it costs like 10 grand to feed these animals a year or whatever,
Hmm.
maybe a month. I forgot the crazy number, but yeah, you gotta take care of these things. And like you can attest that they were in the middle of nowhere, right? So there's no way they had big business coming in.
Hmm. Well, did you hear about? Okay, like so there was a woman who came in with her horse, and she was like crying, and she came up to Joe Exotic, and he gave her a hug, and she's like, "Can you take care of my horse? He's old and stuff. Like, I can't do it anymore." And then he said, "Of course I will." And then he took the horse, or the horse was in the stable as soon as she left. He was all like, "Get the camera," and then they filmed it, and then he like shot it, killed it, like
Huh.
in while it's still in like the truck or whatever. And he's all like, "I don't take care of nobody's animals."
Huh. I
And
didn't catch that.
that was just super evil. That's no,
Yeah.
that's like what the guy that filmed it. He like tells that story. Like he told it
Uh,
on a bunch of like talk shows. He's been telling everybody about it. Like he watched him. He has like videos of him killing a horse, and he's like, "I don't take care of nobody's animal." Like he was
yeah.
like evil. He's very. like at that point, it's like, you don't care about animals at all anymore? Like you're so corrupt. It's like you're just willing to just shoot them in
Um,
the head like that. That's so harsh.
Let me just say to anybody listening or anybody out there, there's a place you can take an animal that even if it has to be put down, it can be done in the nicest way possible.
Hmm.
Don't bring anything to anybody like this. It doesn't have to be a big cat or anything like that.
Hmm.
Just do it the right way. Like one thing they said in the info about this place, especially I think what they were talking about Joe's at the time was
Hmm.
he got in trouble because they were doing veterinary actions and there was never a vet there. So
That's not right.
it's these things probably in pain, like because animals get tapeworms and they get toothaches and they get nail problems and they you can see in the documentary these cats fight. Animals fight with each other, play or not, and they get hurt. So again, these animals were suffering the worst because nobody was doing it right. He
Hmm.
was literally trying to breed cubs, and then oh well, now I got they had a scene where they had all the tigers in one pen, moving them around and look like cattle, literally like cows. How people put
Oh,
steers and move
one
them,
thing I didn't. One thing I didn't bring. Like whenever he shot that horse and killed it, he chopped it up and fed it to the lions after that too. He's like, "This is
Oh,
food for
sure,
them."
yeah,
Like he just
yeah,
but he was like just telling that lady, he's like, "Oh, I have plenty of land out here. He's gonna be happy," and then he
yeah.
just fed it to the like just so freaking evil, dude. Like I don't. I mean, I'm a meat eater, and I don't necessarily want to stop eating meat, but I feel really bad like seeing animals get slaughtered. It's like it's kind of sad. Not
Well,
something I particularly love.
no, most people don't want to harm animals, but it's gonna happen. But
Yeah,
at least we need to
and
make sure it happens the right way.
and it yeah, not inhumane and stuff.
Right,
Um,
like
yeah, because like a lot of farms and stuff, they don't treat the like these big corporate farms and stuff. They're really cruel to the animals there, and they have them all smushed in together in like really small spaces. And you want your animals to be happy, even if you're going to be, eating them. They
right,
deserve to have a good life. I live out here in the country, so there's animals that are, like you get fresh ground beef out here and stuff or whatever. Um, but the animals out here are very happy. They have good lives
right.
while they are alive. It's they got plenty of land. It's beautiful out here, and they don't carry diseases like a lot of these corporate,
Right.
farms are so packed with pigs and stuff. Like they have all kinds of diseases and cancers, and like they're just not healthy.
Mm,
You know,
great. Yeah.
and it's gross. And it's gross because if you be eating McDonald's, you might be eating a cheeseburger that has like 10,000 different cows in it. I mean, it's
Right.
disgusting. It's so gross.
Oh, I heard the chicken nuggets are not good. Like, you don't want to know how they make their chicken nuggets.
Why you trying to ruin chicken nuggets for me?
I don't have to ruin it. Everybody knows they're like how they're made and what they look like before they're cooked. And
With that
I
pink
eat,
stuff.
yeah, I eat chicken nuggets too. But like there's
I don't think
nothing.
I heard the McDonald's one ain't that pink stuff though, y'all. That ain't how they
No,
look.
I'm sure it's not exactly like that. But you know, to me, there's nothing I think we can personally do about it, but bring attention to it.
Yeah.
Like, and like slaughterhouses used to do it with primitive type tools. Now they have like a 22 caliber gun that is a quick and easy way, and that's always making an advance. To where we should be advanced enough as humans to like we cloned a sheep already. We should be able to make food without having to kill countless animals. But
Well,
nothing,
they were there was that weird science meat that they were making with different proteins and stuff like they
mm,
were producing. I don't know how that went
like the
over.
like the Impossible Whopper.
It's not, but it's actually like made out of the proteins from meat, but it
Right.
wasn't like an animal, but they were growing some kind of.
No.
I don't know what the deal is. I saw the meat; it kind of looked disturbing to me, so it didn't really look like anything I'd want to eat. Plus, it's Frankenstein meat, so I'm not really into like some kind of science lab stuff. Um, but they're trying to do something healthy, you know. But I
Hey,
don't know. Like some scientists are hacks. I'm just gonna say it
yeah.
because y'all would be telling us that McDonald's is healthy for us because they pay you. Like screw you, dude.
Well, that's crooked people. Period. And just because somebody's a doctor or a scientist or even like that doesn't make them a good person. But
I
you
know.
know, if I think they're getting closer, but I don't know if you've ever eaten tofu. That's not wrong with that. It's fine.
Tofu
Yeah,
is
made the right way.
fine. Tofu is
Spam.
fine, but I don't necessarily think uh, women or men should eat it too often because it does have a lot of soy in it, and soy produces a lot of estrogen. And estrogen, too much estrogen for a woman, is gonna make you
Mm-hmm.
crazy. Because I used to be a vegan for a while, well, a vegetarian. I was a vegetarian for like 2 years, and I was pretty crazy, and I didn't realize it was because I was eating so much soy. So I have like personal story with it. Um, and I know it makes men grow tits and stuff too if they have like too much of that. So, be careful with the soy, y'all. You know.
Well, I had a good friend whose wife, she was a vegetarian, but she balanced it so well with like she would supplement the protein she was missing, almost exact with vitamins per se. I
Hmm.
say because there was supplements, but like she knew and she balanced it well and like never had any issues, but it
Hmm.
wasn't cheap either. You know,
Yeah.
like being
No, that's
being a vegan or vegetarian is not cheap.
well, that's the problem. Is like if you're gonna go down that route, poor people like I'm pretty poor, so I kind of have to eat meat because it's like cheap, and my nuggets don't cost that much, and then I got me some dinners, but you know, I I did the vegetarian thing for a long time, and a lot of the food I was eating was a lot of grains and stuff. Like you eat a lot of oatmeal in the morning every single day. You eat the peanut butter. All them grains is really bad for your teeth. So I had some teeth issues, and I got some cavities from it. Um, you're not supposed to eat oatmeal every day. I know it's like technically it's got healthy stuff, but grains are not good for the teeth, y'all. So I don't recommend eating peanut butter every day and all that kind of stuff. You know.
No, that's why the food pyramid they figured out the best way where you need a starch and you need they figured it out.
Potatoes.
Well, you can do
Potatoes.
however you want to do it, but
Potatoes don't make you
yeah,
fat. People are they're full of
um
crap that tell you that. They'll tell you, "Oh, potatoes are gonna make you fat." No, they don't. I've lost like 40 pounds eating cheesy potatoes.
well, even you could I know you can eat apples all day, but apples will make you fat. Anything will make you
Apples,
big.
apples will make you fat if you eat
Yeah.
like boxes of them because they got all that sugar in them. I'm just
And
saying,
if you
eating a potato with your dinner is not gonna make you fat because people will
well,
tell you
that's
don't eat
what I'm
potatoes.
saying. But by the pyramid, like they show a plate and there's something like a meat product next to a vegetable next to a starch, and you space it out. That's fine. But some of us
Well,
can't do that,
yeah,
and
but
you
also
got to make
like
do.
if poor people are fatter than like people that have money because we have to eat cheap stuff that makes you fat. Like you can eat junk food and like eat more than your calories and you still barely have eaten and you could still be hungry, but it's like it was because it had so much calories in it, so much fat content, all that kind of stuff. And then you could see like a vegan or whatever, they be eating giant like plates of vegetables all day, like eating way more than we do, but then they'll be like skinny.
Yeah, that's why, like in third world countries, they have extended stomachs because there'll be bone on their arms and legs, but their stomach is compensating with just the junk they got to eat. And
Yeah.
uh, by the way, beer and French fries are in vegetarians menus, so and those can build up your gut or your calorie count. So,
Well,
but
yeah, I mean, you could be fat and be a vegan. Um,
well, yeah, it's still food.
you know,
A salad can have more calories than a Big Mac. It just depends how you make it and how much. and
Hmm.
how what you do after.
Well,
You
Banana
know,
Girl, I've talked about her before. She tells people to eat 40 bananas a day, like that's a healthy diet. It's not a healthy diet. There have been several YouTubers that have went on her stupid diet, which I don't think I think she like throws up her food, but that's just my like opinion. But like she tells people to eat 40 bananas a day, and there have been several women who've gained like over 100 pounds on her little banana diet. And they're like, dude, I didn't lose any weight at all. I got freaking way fatter. It's like,
well,
yeah, you
yeah,
can't eat
because
40 freaking bananas. You know how much sugar's in there?
you don't need 40 anything.
But that doesn't even sound good to me though. It's like
And you're overdoing the
potassium.
protein count. Well, yeah, potassium. Like that'd be like drinking 40 glasses of milk. You're gonna just overdo your vitamin D count, and you'll
Oh,
get
I
sick
love
in
me
that
some
way.
milk, but I don't drink 40 glasses, but I do go through like the gallons by myself though, because I just love it. I just
Nothing
like
wrong
milk
with
a
that,
lot.
but anything in excess is a problem. And to bring it
Yeah.
back, owning a lot of animals, especially big cats, is a
Hmm.
problem. And
No, it's not cool.
by the way, I'd like to tie this in real quick with the crypto world. There's pictures of what looks to be a Roman roaming around a black cat seen in Louisiana. There's pictures that looks like a black panther because it has high shoulders and a very long curled tail. And it's like a cryptid where it's like Bigfoot, where people see it, nobody catched it. But there are trail cams throughout Texas
Hmm.
where jaguars have come across the Mexican border from South America, where big cats are getting in. So, you know,
Hmm.
these people might own them, but they're getting in on their own too.
Well, some like what was it like that on that documentary that there's some guy who owned a bunch of tigers. Remember he let them loose on purpose?
They were lions in Ohio,
Oh, they're
and
lions.
the
Okay.
video is just you hear cops going like emptying all their guns,
Yeah, they had to
and they
shoot
show the
them.
lion. Well, because there was kids
Yeah,
involved, so
because they're out on the
they
streets
had
and stuff.
to. But that's
Yeah.
the problem where if one of these people goes completely nuts, they could start just pandemonium, and these animals don't know, and then they have to be put down, and it's just a bad cycle in and of itself. So,
Yeah. Yeah, uh that's a problem. Like sometimes they'll be well, because like I lived out in Chandler for a while, and there's a lot of little like cowboy places with a lot of buffaloes and all that kind of stuff. One time, one of the buffaloes got loose, and it was on our playground at school. This was back in 2000 or whatever, so I was like
mhm.
8, 9 years old, however old I was. And at my school, we didn't get to go to recess because there was a big buffalo outside.
Mm.
And they're like, "No, you can't let," and the cops had to come and they had to shoot the buffalo. And it was pretty sad. But I mean, sometimes the thing like this buffalo got loose. It wasn't like purposely, it just got loose on
Right?
its own. But that does happen sometimes. Like when people have exotic, or I don't necessarily think of buffaloes exotic, but if people have like wild animals, sometimes they do just get
Uh,
loose. Like you were talking about
Isn't
giant snakes and stuff. Sometimes people have those giant snakes and they get out sometimes too at the zoo. They'll be like, oh, the snake got out, like, and then people
well,
are like
that's
freaking out. And
that's what happened in Florida. A hurricane or
hmm.
two knocked down pet stores, and the boa constrictor was able to thrive. So now we have gigantic snakes. Kill them all. Anyway, um, let me end my part with this. If anybody takes away anything from this documentary, is that one, yeah, we need to watch these people like for what they do in their real lives. That's bad, but also what they're trying to do with these animals is wrong. And the big thing this is the animals. We need to really try and bring this back to helping the animals. There's not much we can do on our own, but like the animals are the ones suffering because these people are just thinking about money. It looks like, and like
Hmm.
if they're trying to kill each other, like how long until like something goes wrong with they're letting kids pet cubs of a tiger? The cub ain't gonna know the difference. And
Hmm.
once again, if you ever play with a house cat that gets a little too into it, it doesn't take much to be cut or bit or scratched or bleed.
Mm.
These cubs are not going to know, and then they have to put that animal down. So, we
Yeah,
need
so
to.
it's not fair to the animals that like
No,
we put them in situations where they hurt us, so then we have to kill them.
right?
That's
Or the
ridiculous.
people who get hurt, they don't deserve to be hurt. And
Yeah,
like,
that too. Like
I can't,
children and stuff sometimes like, you know.
I couldn't believe he was doing mall tours in the beginning. Like, who takes a tiger to a mall? Yeah,
I don't
but
know. Oh, and he has music videos, y'all,
he's a
and
country singer.
they're pretty good, and
They're
they're
not
on
bad,
YouTube.
no.
No, they're good. But the thing is, it's not him singing. Because I was like, wow, he's really good at singing, but it turns out he's like lip singing. But they're pretty good music videos. I liked them.
No.
He has I Saw Tigers. That's like his hit, you know.
Well, it seems his most infamous song is where he had the song is written about Carol's husband
Oh,
thing.
Kitty Kitty.
Yeah, I must say that look-alike looks just like Carol.
I know. I thought that
Like
was
I
her
thought
when
it
I
was
first
her.
saw it.
Yeah,
I was like,
I'm
why
like,
would she agree to do this? Like,
she talk about a look-alike. I'm like, good lord, they got it right on the money on that one. But you know, he put out like
yeah,
3 albums. But
when I first saw that, I was like, why is she doing this? Like, that's weird. Like, oh,
so
we gotta look like.
in retrospect, there is our look at the Tiger King out on Netflix right now. Right now, it's at 8 episodes, but the last one is a retrospective where they went back and talked to the people involved, and it's a where are they now type of situation. But see it for yourself. But if you're a true deep animal lover, this is disturbing.
Hmm.
It's heartbreaking to see the situations with people. It's hard to hear these stories about humans being hurt, maybe even killed. We'll leave it at
Hmm.
that. But uh, it was interesting. So overall, I will give the entire Tiger King documentary. I'll give it an 8.0.
Okay,
It was
well,
interesting. I wasn't bored too much. Maybe here or there drag,
hmm
but the whole story is interesting. Just it ended up being just about the people. So other than that, I give it an 8.
okay. I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
Okay.
You know, I think it's very interesting and good, but there's a lot of like sad stuff in this, so be prepared. You know, brace yourself if yeah, like he said, if you don't like see animals being messed with. Um, but I do want to give a shout out to Wendy. You know, I'm glad that
Yeah.
we can
Hi,
be.
Wendy.
Hi, Wendy. We're glad that we could be here for you. You know, you got some company.
And anybody watching wants a shout out, just ask for one. We do
Yeah,
this for the people.
yeah, we do this for y'all. And Wendy, you need to check out the Tiger King. So I know you like to check out the stuff we talk about. Um, this one might be pretty fun for you.
Yeah, and is it supposed to keep going? Like, are they making more, like another
They
season, or is
they
that
made
it?
a new episode on Sunday. Did you watch
No, I
that?
saw that. I just mentioned like they did a retrospect. That's where
Oh,
they went back.
I
But I mean,
think
are they doing
they
another season next year or something?
they're talking about it actually
Okay.
because it's so popular. I think they have a lot more footage of Joe that they could put out there, and also do interviews, talk to him while he's in prison probably, and because he's actually communicating with his fans a lot right now on Facebook.
Yeah.
Like even like he's and people are giving him a lot of money and stuff that's helping him, buy whatever you buy in prison, and they
And they leave.
they're
Good.
also talking about doing a movie, but I mean that's gonna be way later and everything. But they want to put Matthew McConaughey in it. I think that would be really cool. Like I
They
would
they
love
already
that.
asked David Spade to be Joe, and he said no.
Yeah. Well, it's
But
like
I don't blame him.
well, I think Joe Exotic said he wants Brad Pitt to play him. So I don't know. Like I don't know if that's gonna work out, but
Good luck.
then they said they wanted Matthew McConaughey to play him or like one of the other people or whatever. I'm like, I don't know. Like that would be kind of cool. Like I would
Yeah.
love it.
I will say they they have enough to do another season. Just at the end of everything, they say everybody's got dirt on other people, so it wouldn't be hard to like everybody's going down, you know.
Oh yeah, definitely. Um,
And Joe's sitting in jail, so you know.
they're all shady people. All these tiger people seem like not very good people.
Yeah, and you know, like I said, the harem guy had a birthday party for a chimp at his place, and
What's
they
wrong?
said,
Wait, a birthday
like,
party for?
yeah, he goes, well, the guy filming the documentary is like, so you said we're having a chimp party? What does that have? What does that mean? And the harem guy goes, well, that's just like a human party, but it's a chimp, and he might bite your fingers off if you get too close. I'm like, that's not a human party, man. Like, what are you talking about?
Mm,
Chimps will rip your face off.
oh yeah, I those chimps is dangerous, y'all. You gotta be careful around them. You know, they're
Even
not really.
the little lemurs, like
Yeah.
it's a monkey, it's a monkey, man. Like they're strong.
Well, you told me about that lady who got her face ripped off by the
It
monkey.
yeah, it's a
Remember?
famous case from Florida, and a lady had a chimp like in a diaper, the whole deal, and her friend was attacked. It just snapped. I think it was older,
Hmm.
and it mauled her face to pieces. She's still alive, and I've seen the aftermath pictures, and I wish I didn't, but
I don't want to see it. So
well
thanks for
that
the warning.
well when chimps fight each other, they know to go for the face, you know, for the eyes, to blind, and they just do that to us on instinct because that's just what they do, and they're so strong they hit, and that's how they crush and blah blah blah. But you know, this guy was having a birthday party, and they showed like he had balloons and you know, but he literally said like they could bite your fingers off, and I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
that's why you don't have a chimp party.
No, I'm not gonna go to no chip parties. I'm good on that.
Well, there you go, everybody. Another Theater Thursday with Hannah and Chubbs. We love to bring entertainment for you from across space and time. Come back next time and stay tuned for more because you never know what's coming up.
Yeah, we love you, Wendy.
That's right.
All right, that's it.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.